Okay, this is the demo of how to create a predictive model. Okay, so we go to the prediction studio. Let's go ahead and create a predictive model which actually predicts a churning of the customer based on a telecom customer, basically, like, no, based on the number of dropped calls of that customer, right? So of that service. So to start with, okay, we are in the prediction studio, we are in the models section, and let's go ahead and select the new. So here it allows us to create like four types of models: predictive models, adaptive models, text categorization, extraction. Let's go ahead and create the predictive model now. So let's give it a name as test um, churn rate. Okay, test churn rate. You could actually, like, pick use Pega machine learning, or you can actually like import the model. You can actually import it from a PMML file, which is actually called predictive model markup language. Also, you can actually use an external model, like for example, any, like, no, Google ML model or anything. Okay, if you have the service with them, actually, like, no, there is billing should be enabled, and also, like, no, if you have the access to that Google models, you can actually reference them over here. But for this demo, let's go ahead and create the Pega machine learning model. Here, since we are actually, like, not predicting the churn rate, let's go ahead and select the category of retention, right? Again, we have four different categories by default in the predictions predictive models: recommendation, recruitment, retention, risk. Based on what you select, the templates, the predefined templates will be there. For example, recommendation has a couple of them. Recruitment has like cross-selling. For example, if you wanted to, like, couple like one product with other product while selling it, right? So that actually, like, prediction can be done by using this template. The same way, a risk model also. In the risk model, basically we can predict, like, any probabilities of default, for example, right? So but for now, like, since we are predicting the churn, let's go ahead and create select the retention category, and the template we're going to pick the churn modeling, right? So these are the models which are the templates which are already, like, no, part of the Pega offering, right? So let's go ahead and select the churn modeling, select next. So once it comes up, this is actually wizard where we are going to create the predictive model. The wizard has like five different steps, basically, like, no, called data preparation. First you prepare the data, and then basically you analyze the data, and then, like, no, do the model. You actually create the model, and basically, like, no, by default, predictive prediction studio, basically, in the section of predictive models, it creates two different models: regression and decision tree child. But you can actually create a new model also, and then after the models are created, you basically, like, compare those models and ultimately select the model. So all these things we are going to do now. So we are in the first step where we are actually preparing the data. You could basically, like, if you have a CSV file, you can import it from the CSV file. Data set is something where you can actually, like, create on the fly data sets using a Monte Carlo data set method, where, if you don't have much of data, like, you can actually create millions and millions of records using that method, Monte Carlo, this method. That's also part of the Pega, one of the Pega capability, right? So, or if you can actually, like, if you have a data flow, for example, the data flow will be where, like, you select the data, you just basically, like, apply some kind of transformation, and then after that, the resulting data set, you can actually use that one, right? So that's basically data flow where you are actually applying some kind of transformation and preparing the data for your this thing. But for our case, let's go ahead and select the database. Let's pick like one of the Pega databases, like internal databases for external marketing data, and we're gonna pick the external marketing data schema, and we're gonna pick a table called churn customer, right? So basically what we are doing is we are sourcing the data from Pega database itself, from a table called churn customer. So looks like this is a preview of that records, like all the customer ID, states, phone numbers, and all those things. Like this is what actually is showing as a preview. And let's go ahead and click on the next. So now it's actually loaded like 5,000 records, right? 5,000 records from the table for our modeling purpose. So here in this step, like the sample construction, still we are in the first step of data preparation only. In this step, basically we have two different settings, like which we need to make. One is a uniform sampling. Basically what you want, like out of those 5,000 records, like you want to pick all the 100% or like more. So by by thumb rule of thumb, like if it is like less number of cases, you pick everything. But if you have like millions and millions of data, for the faster creation of the model, you actually pick that percentage of the number of cases, right? So number of cases in the sense, like in Pegas terminology, case is a customer, right? So basically, like the churn model, the data which has like what it means is like there are 5,000 customers, right? You pick the uniform sampling, and out of the uniform 100%, you have to actually set something for validation purposes, and some for the testing purpose, right? So basically what we are going to allocate by these steps, we are allocating like 20% of those 5,000 cases for the validation of our model, and 20% for the testing of our model, right? So basically what we are doing in this step is we are splitting the data set 60% to the actual model preparation, 20% for the validation, 20% for the testing of the cases, right? So all right, so that's there, and then click on the next. Okay, and here this is the outcome definition we have to make. So basically by default, predictive models will give two types of modeling. One is a scoring model, and other is the spectrum model. The scoring model also is called a binary model. Basically what we are saying is like binary model is where you are saying, okay, is the customer, for example, is the customer going to churn or not? Is he going to leave the company or not, like based on our data? So the binary classification, right? So whether he's either yes or no, those kind of predictions are called binary. And the continuous is actually where like you are actually like specifying, okay, if this is what is the likely value of that prediction, right? For example, okay, if I let's say take an example of house, right? So if the housing market has like a typical house has like 4 bedrooms, then this is the likely value of that house is actually so and so. If it is like 6 bedrooms, likely value of that one. So basically continuous is that kind of prediction where we are actually going to say, okay, based on this band, right, this classification, how much could be the value, right? So that's what the continuous. But in our case, what we are predicting is like whether the customer is going to stay or leave, right? So that's a binary model. So let's going to select the binary model, and here we are predicting the churn, right? Let's select the churn. What happens is like we have to map the churns. So what we are saying is, okay, if the churn is saying as false, that means he's a loyal customer, he's going to stay with the company, right? If the churn value is true, that means like he's not loyal, basically he's gonna churn, right? So we're gonna map that to the churned. Okay, and this basically shows like this is my development data set, this is my validation data set, the test data set, and I know if the false cases are this many and true cases are this many. This is my data set, right? Out of those 5,000, this many were actually like false. That means that they are the loyal customers based on the data sets, and these are like my churned customers. Basing on this data, we are going to create the models, couple of basically three models, and select the best model and use those models in our strategy planning, right? So let's that's basically mapping on the data, and click on the next. Now here in this step, this is a data analysis step. In this data analysis step, what we are going to do is like we are going to the wizard itself will come up with all the predictors, right? So it says like a number of dropped calls, number of total day minutes, and all those things. Basically like these predictors are saying like, okay, based on the predictors, what is the outcome. That's what the model will predict, right? The first thing, all these are like, by default everything looks like everything is included, but using some common sense, right, the customer ID is not going to be a proper predictor, right, because each customer out of those 5000 will be having their own customer IDs, so there is no real intelligence on those grouping of the customers, because everybody has a unique value, we cannot predict it. So let's go ahead and select that one and change the role as ignored. Okay, so after that is done, let's also go ahead and select, create a new virtual field, right? Just to show, like, okay, these are all like, existing fields on the from the table. But if you want to create a new virtual field, basically you can create a new virtual fields, basically, like, call as total minutes. Basically we have total day minutes, total night minutes, total evening minutes as a columns, but if we don't have a total minutes, so we are going to actually create a virtual field in the table, and we are going to use that as one of the predictor also, right? So this total minutes virtual field, the formula is fields, go to the fields, basically, come on. Okay, so we're going to say like total day minutes, and then go back to the fields, total evening minutes, and then go to the fields again, and then total night minutes, right? Total night minutes. Okay, so basically our total minutes formula is total day minutes plus total evening minutes plus total night minutes, right? And let's go ahead and validate that one. Now the virtual field is like basically validated. Save and close. Okay, so the field is created, virtual field is created. If you wanted to see like how the prediction happens based on these individual predictors, you can actually click on the predictor. For example, number of dropped calls, right? This is a strong predictor. If the dropped calls are more, the customer probably will leave, right? So that's what it says, like it's predicting, saying that, okay, if my dropped calls is between 0 to 2, my churn rate is actually like, not that high, right? Churn rate is actually under 0.16. If it is actually growing up and it's going, say, okay, my 7 and 10, so between 7 and 10, this is statistical grouping of bins, right? So with if my drop calls is between 7 and 10, or 7 or more than 7, the customer is likely to leave, right? So that's what it says. The same way, like, you can actually, like, pick other predictors also and see, right? So that is the data analysis tab. After that is done, let's go ahead and go next. And here, like, by default, like, the model itself will group related predictors into groups, right? So if something is, it feels like, it's actually can be grouped, it will be grouped under those two predictors, for example, number of draft calls and customer service calls under the group 1 and stuff like that, right? But it's good rule is actually like, let's not pick every part of the predictor, every predictor in each group. So basically you let the predictive modeling to actually, like, pick the right group, right elements within the group. So that's why we're going to say, like, use best of each group. When you click on that one, it will actually deselect some of them. Okay, next. On the predictive grouping, like, by default, predictive modeling will create like two models: regression model and decision tree model, right? Regression model is basically something which actually, like, gives some kind of relation between like two different variables, right? So if it is, for example, like, again going back to housing housing example, like, okay, if it is 4 bedroom, how much is the value of the house? Like, if 6 bedroom, so basically if you change one of the variable, how the other variable is changing, that's a regression between those variables. So that's one of the model. And decision tree is basically typical decision tree. For example, like, if you wanted to see, like, predict a mammal, right? If the mammal is actually a fish or some kind of other kind of animal, the decision tree probably will ask first node question, saying that, okay, is the mammal actually breathes the air, right? So if it breathes the air, then it probably will be actually, like, goes and tries to evaluate from a different decision. But if it is actually doesn't breathe air and it actually is in the water, then it's you can actually say it is a fish, right? That kind of decision tree that's basically it uses that kind of decision tree algorithm to come up with certain predictions, right? Anyway, so these two things are actually like will be created by default, but let's go ahead and create a new model also. We'll say like again, these models like by default Pega will allow us to create like regression model, decision tree models, genetic algorithms and bivariate, but let's go ahead and create like a new decision tree model. In this decision tree model, we'll pick the decision tree and let's go ahead and create model, and we're gonna say like okay, ID3, that's the type of the model which we're gonna create, and use best of each group, and then just go ahead and create, right? So it's gonna give some kind of report. You just read through that one, and but basically like go ahead and submit it, right? So what happened? As simple as that, you actually go ahead and went ahead and created a new model, right? Now you have actually like basing on the data, you have a regression model, you have decision tree chain model. The chain is a chi-square. I don't know too much of mathematics behind it. It doesn't matter to me because ultimately like the result is actually what matters, right? So anyways, so regression, decision tree, and this is a new decision tree ID3 model which we have created, right? So here basically okay, let's go ahead and create the next. Click on the next, and then you basically like these three things are there. You wanted to actually analyze these three things and select the best one, right? So analysis part has like three steps. One is actually score comparison, right? So what regression model has a performance of 94.90. What that means, if my model has predicted that okay, this particular customer is actually like going to churn or not going to churn, that is compared against actual churn or not churn based on the data set. If that means my regression model is actually performing around 94.90% accurately on the my 60% of the data set. On the validation data set of 20%, it's actually performing 92.22, and on the test set 93.87. And the regression model has used total number of 13 predictors. Basically, if you look at it, it used like different columns. These are the different columns in the table. Basically, sentiment, international plan, voicemail messages, dropped calls, and stuff like that, right? And decision tree chain actually like performed like 94.27 percentage favorably, and then it used only number of predictors as 9, and the same way decision tree used number as 6, right? So again, rule of thumb, if the performance is close enough, you basically pick a model which is basically using a less number of predictors. The reason, right, why we have to do that way, if you use like less number of predictors and gets a good performance also, the model will be less susceptible to number of changes in the data, right? So if you have more predictors, if anything on that predictor will actually keep on changing, the model performance in the long run will actually reduce, right? That's why rule of thumb is like if it's actually close enough, then you use a model which is actually using less number of predictors. Anyway, let's go ahead and select all these things and analyze the charts. Okay. What it is going to say is like it's going to produce like 4 different charts: behavior, lift, gains, and discrimination. So let's go ahead and do the discrimination, right? So what it is saying is that this is my loyal percentage and churn percentage, right? So if my data set is too high, right, during this stage all the models are converging, right? So basically it doesn't matter which model I select, everything is actually like predicting properly. But if my data set is very less, this blue is actually regression model, so my regression model is actually like performing better. And obviously like decision tree which we created, which is having lesser performance. The standard ones Pega created based on our model, regression, decision tree child, are the ones which Pega by default created. This is one which we created. These two things which Pega created outperformed our decision tree, right? So that's what it says. So this is all for us to select the right model for our purposes, right? So that's why based on this one, what I would select is regression. So let's go back to our score comparison, and then let's go and click on score distribution. This is also distributions, basically like these are called deciles. So what it is saying is like my predictive modeling actually like grouped a likely cases together, right? Likely cases together and created 10 different bands, right? Why there are only 10 different bands? Because that's what my setup says. My setup says now I create 10 different bands, and the likely cases are actually grouped, and my churn rate modeling is basically like no graph is actually like no this how it's slowly like no here the churn rate is less, so it's actually like no, these are the cases where customers are cases where my churn rate is very less, so that's where, how it is grouped. And so as it's actually going, and these are the cases where my churn rate is high, that's why the graph is like slowly creeping up, right? That's a score distribution, and again you can see like the performances and all those things and number of predictors and everything. And let's go to the class comparison. Again, no, this is actually also like you can do the same kind of comparison for the analyzing charts. Basically you can go to the discrimination and see like how is my area under curve between these different models, right? If you look at it like no, the regression model slightly like no went below my decision tree shade after my basically like score distribution, right? After I perform the score distribution, my class comparison basically said okay, my regression model like medium number of cases is performing lesser than my decision tree, right? Anyway, so based on these things, now let's go ahead and like next, click on the next. So based on my analysis, I would pick my regression model as that one. So I'm going to pick my regression model. I select the regression model and specify the context as like no Pega marketing. No, basically like no specific. The context is something which says like okay how what class, right? So basically after creating your model, you are going to actually like no save it to basically like to the Pega, right? So and that model will be used in your strategy designer to basically like no predict any future customer based on our if the customer has same kind of profile as like no my data set of those 5000, what is my likely, what is that customer's likelihood of actually propensity, they also call as a propensity of churning, right? So that's what we're going to say. We're going to pick a context called so basically this is a marketing data, so we're going to pick like Pega marketing data churn customer. That is basically is a class where it's gonna save. So what I'm going to say is like okay, I'm going to apply to this class and basically go ahead and finish, right? So let's see, it is right now saving. Okay, good. My model is already created. Okay, so now this model can be used for in my strategy design, basically like to predict a new customer whether he is going to churn or not. Even before doing that one, basically like since we are actually like the model is created using like whatever the data source, but we are actually trying to actually copy to Pega marketing data churn customer. So for that one we have to do like the Pega marketing data churn customer has like certain default fields, right? These are the the fields will be there here, and these are like my predictors. So basically I need to map those things. So what I need to do is, for example, international plan is going to be international plan here. Number of emails, voicemails will be voicemail messages like that. No, we are going to actually select all those things, right? Okay, so basically we mapped everything. You just need to select that and just down arrow and select the corresponding field, which is part of like these are the properties we call as like Java properties under that Pega marketing data churn customer class. So we gonna map that to those classes, class properties, and then go ahead and save it. Okay. So once you save it on the prediction studio models, like the test churn rate will be actually showing up over here, and it is now ready for using in your strategy designer. Okay, all right, thank you.